Good morning. Welcome to the Parenting Versus Podcast. The children's edition, because our kids are here, and they're going to get my hot coffee. Do not do that.
Sounds familiar.
Why?
Because it's always about us keeping our coffee away from our kids.
Yeah.
In Minecraft, there's dogs, but the dogs are not nice. They're bad dogs. And there's zombies, skeletons, creepers, and of course, zombie humans.
There's zombie humans, creepers, of course. Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah. I've actually thought about getting Minecraft for the kids.
We actually have a version of that game at my work in the incentive room. I could probably just buy it from work for cheap as a donation kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Or we can just buy it. I think it's like $20 or something.
Yeah.
But
probably not. I don't want to spend $20 on that. I'm sorry.
No. So, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee in my mug that says, "Because together is better, it just is." And then it says "together." My friend in Seattle, Julie, made this. And
thank you, Julie Jackson.
Thanks, Julie Jackson, for the free mug. Yeah, I know. She gave it to me a while ago.
Julie Jackson is no one. It's just a person with crazy hair.
Julie Jackson has awesome
She
hair.
is somebody.
She is someone, and she has amazing hair.
Yes.
She makes,
That's Jonah's mommy, Luke.
She makes T-shirts and stuff. She screen prints things. It's amazing. I'll have to find out her information and shout out because she does custom orders and they are sweet. She just did her first rug. Yeah, like a welcome mat for a friend, and I was like, dang, that's professional grade, amazing. So, can I just say something real fast?
Sure, say something.
I just wanted to comment and compliment you on your radiant red hairs that are shining in your beard this morning.
Yeah, that's the European coming out of me, I guess.
Yeah, it's very rich red. Nay, Spanish red.
I am 1% Scandinavian, so maybe that's what it is.
It could be.
Did you hear about the white supremacists that were taking the DNA tests, and when they found out that they had Jewish blood or African blood in them, they were getting pissed off and saying that the tests were false and stuff?
I did not hear about that. I don't have enough mental capacity to even care about that.
Our world is so crazy.
I just think people like that are ignorant, and it's sad, and that's kind of where I'm at with
I have an idea. I think our world isn't any more crazy than it's always been. I think that we're just more aware of it because we're more connected.
We have already talked about this.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we have. So, totally New Mexican status last night. We went to the Balloon Glow for the 2017
Are you moving on? Are you
Balloon
transitioning?
Fiesta. Yeah, because I don't want to keep talking about the same things that we talk about over and over again.
Okay, well, I had something else to talk about instead of boring fiesta.
It's not boring for people who don't live here.
Okay, talk about it. We went to the Balloon Glow last night. Follow me on Snapchat because I snapped it.
Well, we also put it on our Instagram. There's a couple pictures on our Instagram for the blog, the podcast, and our personal Instagrams. But yeah, Balloon Glow is always my favorite thing. Instead of getting up at 5 or 4 a.m. to go to the field and watch them take off, I can see that from my house in the morning, which we're doing right now. Actually, there's balloons coming this way.
Yeah.
I'd rather go see them light it up.
Lit up?
No, light it up.
Wouldn't it be
on the
lit?
field.
Wouldn't it be lit up?
I want to see them light it up on the field.
Oh, okay.
Makes total sense. But yeah, so we did that last night, and then it was getting a little windy, and so they stopped the glow, and we thought maybe it was because of the wind, but it was actually because one of the balloons got untethered, I guess.
Yeah, so the Balloon Glow, the way it works is they have, I don't know, there was probably about 50 balloons that they have it's called the Glowdio. Like rodeo and glow.
Oh yeah, last night was the Special Shapes Glowdio.
Special Shapes Glowdio.
Blah.
And a bunch of really cool special shapes. They had Tom and Jerry. They had a stagecoach, really huge stagecoach. They had a kiwi from New Zealand. They had a carousel one.
I love that one.
They had a panda. They had and a male Mexican doll and a female Mexican doll.
Oh, cool.
She fell. Okay.
All right. This is awesome. I love the chaos that is our life. I swear, it's not as bad as it sounds. I just feel like every time we start a podcast, that's when it gets really nuts. It's like the dogs and our kids know that we're trying to do something constructive. And then that's when all hell breaks loose. So go figure. The dogs knocked our daughter over just now. And now our 5-year-old is chasing them with a sword. Okay, dude. They get it. So anyway, last night we were at the Special Shapes Glodio, and they have all the different shapes of balloons. They're kind of like odd shaped balloons, and character balloons and things. So they do that once a year, and it's kind of like a thing. So we took the park and ride down there, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, one of the Mexican doll balloons, the boy got, or maybe it was the girl, I can't remember, it doesn't matter, got loose from its tether, and so they shut the whole thing down. We didn't know what was going on, and we were waiting, and then it just kind of like shut down. And then we were waiting for the fireworks show, and that took forever. So once we got back on the bus to the park and ride, that's when the fireworks started. So it was kind of like, okay. But went there, did that, did our thing for Balloon Fiesta.
Did you talk about the Glodio?
I did.
Okay, I was taking care of Juliet.
Yeah.
Did you talk about how the Mexican doll escaped?
I literally just said that, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to apologize right now for anyone who's listening to this and just wants to like punch themselves in the face because they're like, we just talked about that.
Do they want to punch themselves in the face, or do you want to punch me in the face?
It could be a little bit of both.
Okay.
Could be a little bit of both.
I'm used to that.
He's a battered husband.
I am, actually. I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, it was fun. We had some good fair food. It's kind of like a fair scene, I guess you could say, like if you have a county fair or a state fair or whatever. You just saw 2 wasps fly?
Leave them alone and go play. If you leave them alone, they will leave you alone.
Yep. So there were like a bunch of fair vendors. So we got a foot-long corn dog. Lindsay had a green chili tortilla burger from the Hatch shop.
The chili was really spicy. It had a nice burn to it.
Hatch is a city in southern New Mexico where they grow a lot of green chili crops, and it's the most famous city.
If you go to California, you'll see them always advertising
Hatch,
and
right.
They don't know anything, but you know.
Yeah. And I think they trademarked it, actually.
They did.
And if you don't see, there's like anything that's green chili or red chili is supposed to have a New Mexico seal on it to let you know it's grown here and not in California. But actually, my parents swear by Lematar chili.
I've heard that's really good too. It's got a different flavor.
Yeah, Lematar.
I've had it. I mean, it's.
Lematar is by Socorro, New Mexico. But.
Yeah. Well, so in the fall here in New Mexico, you can tell it's fall because you smell green chili roasting, and I'm not even being pretentious. Like that really happens. You buy these giant bags of green chili, and then a lot of grocery stores and places will have roasters. So you go put your bag of green chili in there, they roast it over a fire, and then it has this smell. And the smell gets into the air, and it's really nice. It's kind of like a very New Mexican, like, comfort smell, I guess. I can't even describe it, but it's a wonderful fall smell.
Somebody who wasn't from here, I don't know if it was maybe somebody I work with, or I don't know, I remember this recently. They're not from here, and they smelled the air, and they said it smelled like pot.
I would disagree with that. I mean, I guess I could, if you didn't, this is horrible, but if you didn't know what pot really smelled like, then you might be able to say, oh yeah, that smells like pot, but it really doesn't smell like pot. I think that would just be like an ignorant, I don't know what pot smells like comment.
Maybe.
Take it from somebody who knows what pot smells like. It doesn't smell like pot. No, I spent enough time in college to be able to make the distinction, so... Yeah, so that's fun. No, it's a good smell, and I like it. And then the fun thing that people do is they put green chili here in everything, but one of my favorite things, like my favorite things, is green chili apple pie. I had a green chili apple Danish yesterday. We were watching the balloons come down. We went and got coffee and parked somewhere and just watched them land. If you park by like some open spaces, you can kind of see them land. A lot of times they have to land somewhere with a lot of room. So if you go to those places like a park or something, they will end up landing there. So we did that, and I had a green chili apple Danish thing, and it was delectable. Something about sweet and spicy just nails it.
Yeah.
So if you find a good recipe for like green chili, apple, whatever, you should definitely try it out. It's unique, but you got to make sure you get like actual green chili from New Mexico
It's
to
a
do
good
it.
balance of spicy and sweet.
Yeah, it's very good. So
They have green chili apple pies too at the state fair.
I love that. I love those apple pies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even an apple pie person. Like, I don't like apple pie by itself, really. Like, I could take it or leave it, but if you put some green chili in there, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So fall is where it's at.
Yeah, for sure.
Here in New Mexico, I've said that 1,000 times
I think
already.
we've said that a million times. Like,
But it's true.
It's my
I
favorite
do
season.
enjoy autumn, otoño, if you will.
yeah, a little Spanish for
A
you.
little Spanish. Every time we come home from our community group, we pass by. There's a place.
It's called Antonio Plaza.
Yeah, and every time I pass by, I say otoño. And
then I feel
Lindsay has
compelled-
to hold back to say that's autumn in Spanish.
Yeah, I have to be like, I'm like compelled to say it every time, and I'm like, nope, not gonna say it this time, and then I always have to. It's like, it's so weird. I don't know. That's a fun fact about our life
Yeah.
that nobody cares about.
Right. So yesterday I canceled our home internet.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see how that pans out.
Yep. We just thought it'd be a good place to free up some budget space because I figured we're paying for 2 internet connections, right?
Yeah, basically.
We're paying for our what is it called? Cell phone.
Whoa. We cancel internet, and all of a sudden he forgets words.
I can't speak. Maybe I'm an Android or something.
Oh my gosh, I know we're nerding out a little.
So, speaking of nerding out, we could talk about the Orville if you want.
I don't want to talk about the Orville ever. Thank you, though, for offering.
I actually kind of like it a little bit. Now that I know that Jonathan Rikes directed it, at least the last episode.
Yeah.
Number
They
one.
have a lot of good cameos in
Yeah.
the show. And it's totally a spoof on Star Trek, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay. Like, I get it. It's funny. You don't take it seriously. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's a satire.
Right. But it kind of goes with Next Generation. Like, it does the things the Next Generation does. Like,
Yeah.
it tackles issues, or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There was that. But I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something else about it, but I forgot.
You were talking about how we were paying for 2 internet connections, and you canceled, and you couldn't remember the word cell phone. You also have
Yeah.
like dirt all over your shirt. I'm wondering what you've been doing out here.
I was cleaning off our daughter because she had dirt all over her. Yeah, so I canceled our internet connection. We're paying for 2 internet connections. You know, we have our LTE connection from T-Mobile, and then we had our CenturyLink connection. Is it okay to mention
Yeah.
companies? I don't think it is. I don't think it matters. But our CenturyLink was giving us a bunch of issues with speed, and we had to reset the modem like a bunch of times, call tech support. They sent somebody out. You know, basically there was a bunch of problems, and we were paying way too much for it. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to cancel internet and see how it goes with my T-Mobile connection. And, you know, some things don't work, like our Chromecasts don't work.
That's neither here nor there, though. We
yeah.
really don't use it that often. Your
our-
hair has like these glorious red shades in them today.
Does it?
Yes. It's like, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm just like noticing. It's like a rich red. It's lovely.
That's why our kids have kind of reddish hair. But it kind of made me think a little bit. Now that I got rid of my internet connection, are there any other things I can get rid of? And not only that, but
We have 2 dogs. I think we should start with that.
you do not like animals, do you?
No, I like animals. I'm just tired. I'm like actually really tired of being a pet owner. I'm tired of cleaning up after them and having them on my bed. And
You know, there's pet owners at home listening. They're like, they love their pets, and they're wondering, like, how can this lady hate her pets?
I don't hate them. They're really hard to deal with when you have 3 kids. It's a lot. It's a full house. And if you want to adopt our pets, please feel free.
No,
Problem solved.
they're not up for adoption.
Why?
I love them. So
Our dog got out the other day and ended up at the vet clinic down the street, and they called us, and we didn't even realize that he had gotten out because he's little and he's lazy.
There's actually some wolves and pigs and cows.
Okay.
he said, in Minecraft, there's actually wolves and pigs and cows.
Minecraft that you can pet them.
You can pet them. Okay.
If you pet the
Let's
the
just have
dogs-
Minecraft pets.
If you pet the dogs, they'll taste you.
Oh. So it's kind of just like a dog. what a dog does in real life.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Talking about our internet, I was thinking about this question.
Okay.
What are some things that you really, really want? Material things, like really, really want.
Material things?
Just material things that you really, really want. You think about.
Oh, I think about this all the time. I probably sound super shallow saying that. I would love to have a tiny house cabin somewhere. I have literally thought about this a lot. Not a big cabin, not a huge cabin, a tiny house cabin in the middle of some beautiful place.
How would you make that work with 3 kids, though?
Well, I think it would be one of those things where you'd go in the summer and you would have tents and you would camp out also.
Oh, so this wouldn't be your permanent dwelling. This would just be...
No, this would be like a getaway on the weekends. We own some property up in the Jemez, something like that. No, it would be like a place where you could go with your spouse and just relax, kid-free, or in the summer, you could bring your camper, your trailer, your tents. You could make a little camp out area, but you'd have a little tiny house on the property to kind of relax. So you'd have winter and summer access. That's the one thing I would love. I would love to have a tiny house somewhere.
Yeah. I agree with the tiny house idea, but I think the whole point of the tiny house is not to have as much debt as the average American family.
Well, that's true, but I'm thinking I can't afford a real cabin. I can't afford a vacation house or a timeshare or to go on these crazy extravagant vacations, right? So if I had a small, tiny place where I could go just to free my mind and mentally relax, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, buying a piece of property with a tiny house would be more expensive than a timeshare.
Well.
Or even getting hotel rooms, probably.
But it's yours.
Yeah.
It's something that's yours. It's your little getaway, and that's what's important. I would want to be able to decorate it the way I want to decorate it, put the things in it that I want to put in it, and have access to it. And I would probably, honestly, Airbnb it in the off season, or let other people use it. It would be a way to kind of give other people a little bit of space and peace, and kind of God forbid I say #bless them, And then it's something for your children, too. Someday they have a little, because, okay, so Lorenzo's parents...
So why a tiny house versus a cabin, though?
Because a tiny house...
Why wouldn't you want more space?
You don't need it. I like feeling cozy. I like feeling cozy.
Okay.
I like that feeling. I can imagine being up in Santa Fe in the winter when it's snowy and being in a tiny house and just... having our bed and having a big window and just drinking our coffee and watching the snowfall. And that, to me, is very peaceful. I don't need a huge building to do that.
Yeah. Would you be ever open to the idea of living in a tiny house?
Yeah.
Permanently?
Without 3 kids, sure. And without pets. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I would.
want the pet.
Yeah. There's that show, right,
Yeah.
with the tiny houses.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell their house. They don't have a mortgage like people do, because tiny houses are $30,000, $40,000, something like that. So like a car, basically. Yeah. And I think that podcast, The Minimalists, they talk about tiny houses a little bit.
I would love to do that. The only qualm that I would have with that now is that we have 3 small children.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need a yard. And they need a home, at least until they're to the age where that's not so important that they... Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They need a home to grow up in. And then once they're grown, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess part of minimalism, which kind of appealed to me when I was listening to their podcast, the Minimalist Podcast, shout out.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I don't listen to it very much anymore, but maybe I'll listen to it again. But it's not about just getting rid of all your furniture, but it's cleaning up the clutter in other areas of your life. So even digitally, they talk about cleaning up digitally, because a lot of people's digital life is crazy messy. But financially cleaning up the clutter, because a lot of people have crap they don't even know what they're paying for, and they're not even really using it. It's kind of why I feel really good about canceling my internet connection, to tell you the truth.
You know what's interesting about that concept is that I have noticed there's a direct correlation with the amount of crap and clutter and stuff around you to the stress you feel. I'm sure a lot of people get that, but maybe they don't take the time to actually consider that they have some control over it. Okay, I realize for me, I hate clutter. I am so apt to just What is happening over there?
They're okay.
Like, throw stuff in a junk drawer simply for the fact that I don't want to look at it. It's clutter. It's been sitting on a counter for like a week. I don't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah. Oh. You're ringing.
Does that mean we're on pause?
No.
Oh.
You're ringing.
Oh, I'm ringing. Well, I don't even know where my phone is right now. Who is it?
I don't know. Probably a spam call. Yesterday I got this call. It was crazy. I answered the call and it was like a like a robotic voice. I was like, "Hello, Lorenzo. You owe thousands of dollars to the IRS," and it was a phone number out of Washington State. Mm-hmm. And we have tried several times to get in contact with you, but have not been successful. You have to call us at this number.
And give us your bank account number.
It didn't say anything about bank account number, but it was talking about how if you do not call us, we will sue you. And like it was like a very scary phone call. And I was
you're like, good luck trying that. I don't have any money.
No, for sure. Like, I know that was bogus, but I could just imagine like your Nana or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be terrifying.
Yeah,
for them.
freak her out. She would probably call right away, and they would probably steal her identity and,
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I know. That's so
Or even your
scary.
parents, too. Or my parents.
No, my parents actually had that happen to them, those calls from a person, like last year. My mom more or less told them to like kiss off, kind of. So I think they're good. But no, there is something to be said for getting rid of crap and getting rid of garbage and getting rid of clutter. I think that's part of the reason, like, and I know you're going to like roll your eyes probably, but I look at our backyard and I'm like, I see all these kids' toys laying in the grass and none of them get played with. Literally, they just sit in the grass until our kids decide to pick up like one of them and play with it for 5 minutes. This to me is all garbage. Like they don't care about it. If it was gone tomorrow, they wouldn't even notice. If you like put it away and they didn't realize you were doing it, they would not even notice it was gone. This is clutter to me and this like stresses me out. I know the garage is like that for you. Like when you clean the garage, you feel really good because you feel like, okay, I'm on track, I'm decluttered. I feel like that when I clean closets out in our house, which is rare, but it does happen. I'm sorry.
What?
You just look really bored.
No, you're just talking about clutter and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
I just hate clutter.
That's cool.
And I get minimalism. Can't talk.
Yeah.
With kids, it's a little difficult, but...
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult with kids because you don't know what toy
Like,
you're getting
hey,
utility out of.
Don't grab him like that, please.
You know what the word utility means?
Yes, we've also talked about that on this podcast before.
So, it's good to be able to get utility out of a toy. And a kid might get utility out of one toy one day and not get any utility out of it for another 2 weeks, but then we'll get utility out of it in the next 2 weeks.
I just want to direct your eyes somewhere. Mm-hmm. Do you see that little boat right there? Mm-hmm. In the grass?
Yeah.
Total trash. They could care less about that boat. It has been
sitting
there.
They played with that boat last week.
No,
I promise you. I filled up a bucket of water. And
it was underneath the baby pool last week, and they didn't even know it was there.
The baby pool had water in it. I put water in it. Anyway, so...
We butt heads a little bit on this issue because my husband likes to be a hoarder.
I am not a hoarder.
Crap.
I am not a hoarder.
Mm-hmm.
We just value things differently. We do.
Yeah.
We value things differently.
Which is funny because, like I told Lorenzo, I would be totally happy, like, giving up all my possessions and moving to a foreign country. Like, to me, I would totally get it. Like, that makes sense to me.
It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, see, that's where we don't agree. Because I think the experience is worth way more than the crap that we keep.
Yeah. I also don't want to take my kids to a place that's not comfortable to them.
How do you know it wouldn't be? Maybe they'd love it.
Because they love their grandparents.
Their grandparents can come and visit.
And they love talking to other kids in English.
A lot of other countries speak more than one language.
I know.
Oh, someone's crying.
Okay, let me go regulate.
The thought here is that I have a very, like, adventurous kind of, like, free spirit wanderer kind of thing happening in my life. And while I get with kids, it's kind of hard to, like, cash in on that spirit a lot of the time. I would like to do more traveling, and I would like to do it with my kids. And Lorenzo just is not down. And it's kind of frustrating because I feel like that's a part of myself that I have to either tame or let go of for my spouse. And I don't know that I'm willing to do that. I don't know that I should have to do that. So it's a little frustrating. And I feel like I'm suppressing a part of myself that I don't want to suppress. It's not a negative part of myself. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm adventurous, and I get there's a realistic perspective to that too, but I don't know why we can't do some traveling. I would be totally happy giving up all my possessions and moving to like Siberia, no joke. But I realize with 3 kids, that's not realistic. That doesn't mean I don't want to travel though, or I don't want to do those things like in my life. Even right now, I would love to take like a 2-week trip with Lorenzo and my kids somewhere cool so they can see how the rest of the world lives. I think it's good for them. Wow, we are really hitting rock bottom with these kids today. They're having sharing problems. Riley and Juliet are at the age where they're starting to play together, but they're also starting to take each other's
So are we
toys.
talking about traveling?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I like to visit places. There's a stability that your kids have when they're close to people that they love. Uncles, grandparents, things like that. But, so tiny house is something that you really want. A material, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What else?
Yeah, is there anything else that you think about?
Trying to get my kids to share their toys. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on a second. Let's pause for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna pause. We gotta parent on the Parenting Versus
Riley,
podcast.
no. Riley.
And we're back.
Oh, crisis.
Crisis.
Intervention complete.
Yes. So Luke has a Minecraft sword.
Thank you, Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah, Nammy and Papa.
Mm-hmm.
He calls Lindsay's parents Nammy and Papa, and my parents Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
But, yeah, crisis averted. What were we talking about?
You asked me about material things.
Yeah.
I
feel like we've been really after material things. That's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe. I mean...
And I get the appeal of moving to a place where material things are not as wanted.
Well, if it's not relevant in the culture as much, then it's not as much pressure on you to feel like you need to have them.
I feel like that can happen in the United States.
It could. It probably won't.
I think that's why people move to like rural areas.
I would like to have a nice house. And let me define nice, because I don't mean nice in the sense that people probably think. I'm not talking bigger. I'm not talking newer. I'm talking nicer. Like, I would like to have, like, if I had unlimited resources to get our house looking and feeling the way I would love it to be.
How would that work
like
if you were
that.
in a third world country, though?
Well, it wouldn't. But I think that's the trade-off. For me, I would accept being in a third world country and living that lifestyle and not having a nice house. I would not expect that in a third world country. Here, I would, there's things I would like to do to our yard. There's repairs and upgrades I'd like to make to our house. There's things I want to do to make our house more appealing, because I realize that we're not moving into a new house. We're not moving anytime soon. I would like to make this house a house that I am,
Yeah, keep talking. I got him.
I don't know. Oh my goodness, this is, yeah. Material things, I would love a nanny on call 24/7. One that loves to deal with cranky children. Like, that's her specialty. She's like, I love cranky kids. They're my favorite. And you're like, really? Well, have I got the job for you? What do you mean your kid wants to sleep in your bed all night? Oh, I love that. They can stay with me. Yeah, that would be amazing too, because our 5-year-old and our 2-year-old have tried to like hustle themselves into our bed every single night, and it's getting a little bit old. Anyway, I would love to have our house looking the way I would like it to look, I don't know, just there's things that I would like to do to our house. Holy moly, what is going on over there?
He's like upset as he jumps.
Jump it out, bro.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I would like, there's things I would like to fix in our house to make it a house that I can be like proud of or feel confident about, or just have it be comfortable. I mean,
Now, my next question is: are these meaningful things? Because I know what I really want, and it's not. I mean, I want those things that you want too, but I'm wondering, like, I'm trying to
Well, obviously they're
I'm
meaningful
trying
to me.
to distinguish like things that like material things that you really want and things that are necessary and needed.
Fixing our roof and the leaks in our roof is necessary and needed, and I really want it.
I understand. But like a cute little tiny house in the forest, right? Not necessary.
No, but I think for your mental health, it might be needed.
Yeah.
People need vacations. People need breaks. People need.
Wait till I tell you what I want, and you're gonna talk to me how silly those wants are.
You want technology.
So.
I want to hold you.
Riley wants to hold me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, I would love a Toyota Tacoma. I don't care which year. If it's a Toyota Tacoma from 1995 when they came out to 2017, they're all awesome, and I would love a Toyota Tacoma. 4x4.
I don't think that's stupid.
Not the pre-runner. Pre-runners are garbage. Do you know what a pre-runner is?
No.
It has like has the suspension of a 4x4, but it's a 2-wheel drive. It's pretty bogus.
Okay.
Double cab, even better. Mm-hmm. That would be that's something that I would really want. Now, do I need it? No. My little
Well, if your car keeps breaking down, you may need
my car has not my car hasn't broken down ever.
Not true, but okay.
It hasn't.
It did last week.
It didn't start because I wasn't maintaining the cables, and they corroded. But and I fixed it. So what's up?
What's that noise?
Oh, somebody's bringing in their garbage can next door. So that's one. I think another thing that I would really want is the new Google Pixel 2.
Mm-hmm. You told me that the other night. I remember.
Is that a garbage cup?
It's a garbage can, buddy. The Google Pixel 2 is pretty fantastic. It has like high-end specs internally.
Are these necessary?
Has an amazing camera. No, it's not necessary. That's why I'm not getting one.
I was just asking you the same question.
In fact, I you know how sometimes if you really want something, you go online and you like go through the purchase process, you add it to the cart, but you never purchase it.
Yep.
So I did that, and they're like, I think they're $700 or $800 each, which is a lot. But keep in mind the new iPhone 10 is $1,000 starting. $1,000.
That's your point of reference, and that's still a ridiculous.
But
point of
the
reference.
Samsung phones are $1,000 too. The Galaxy Note.
That's ridiculous. There's people that are starving in the world. Like,
but these are things that people are.
That's our mortgage almost. Let's just be honest.
So, people.
I'm sorry if that offends you.
It doesn't offend me.
I'm sorry if that embarrasses you. That's our mortgage.
Yeah. So phones, people buy them, and they don't buy them outright with cash. Mostly, they would, put them on the payment plan or whatever.
Until the next thing comes out, and then they need that too, and then they're still in the hole.
Yeah. I have to go get our daughter. This is an awful podcast.
You're just cranky.
It is crap.
It's not bad. He's upset, and he's cranky. He's not hangry, though, because he already ate. He's mad because I said how much our mortgage is, and I don't care. I think that people can assume what they want to assume. It doesn't matter, nor is it relevant. It's just merely pointing out that that phone is, like, slightly less than our mortgage, and that's expensive. And I don't know, for me, I look at $1,000 and I think, like, I could have a phone or I could have a home to live in. I think I'd rather have a home to live in. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that don't have homes that would say the same thing. But I understand that these are just dreams. They're not, they're not realistic things. Let's be honest. We all want material things that aren't logical. We all want things in our life that are frivolous and not necessary. And so, I can understand that. Everybody does.
So the whole point of me, like, even asking these questions is, do you need those things?
Right.
And my argument is, no, you don't. But we have this mindset, and it's just, that we want things that are better. We see it's advertisers and companies taking advantage of the fact that we want things that are better. We see the things that are better and we're like, I don't have that thing that's better. I need that thing that's better. You don't need it, right? I don't need 2 internet connections, right?
Right.
I don't.
Advertisers pay psychologists like tons of money to analyze what will make you buy things. So
I don't need a Tacoma.
Right.
They are awesome vehicles, pieces of machinery.
I can agree with you
they're
on that.
amazing.
I think they're awesome too.
They look fantastic. But I don't need a Toyota Tacoma. Right? It's my transportation. It gets me from A to B. Like either way, I'm getting the same amount of utility, I guess. I mean, that's arguable. From my Toyota Corolla to a Toyota Tacoma. I don't need a Tacoma. I don't need a Google Pixel 2. I would love to have a Google Pixel 2 in my hand. I don't need one. Or an iPhone 10. I don't need one. Right? I would love to have that new floor plan, right? Brand new house, in a new subdivision in Albuquerque, or even better, like a historic home in downtown Albuquerque that are really reasonably priced compared to other cities, right?
Yeah.
I would love to have the house we looked at over the summer.
Oh my gosh.
That house was amazing.
It was super awesome.
It was built in 1910. It was a bungalow. Had an amazing garden in the back.
Totally
I was
restored.
like, I don't care. It's
Take my
how
money.
much I want this house.
It
was fantastic.
It was beautiful. Somebody did a really heartfelt, beautiful job getting that house to look the way it did. It was really nice.
But I mean, right now, I don't need that house. What are the things that I need? I think about what are the really true things that I need. I think we all need love. Love is super important, and if you don't have love, I mean, so I started to get all religious on y'all, but I just read
on y'all.
On y'all.
Wow.
Y'all is less gender conforming.
I don't know about that.
You don't say you guys to women, right?
You can, dude. Bro.
Anyway.
Peeps, friends.
Get your woke jeans on.
Oh man. Already on, bro. I have my woke socks on this morning.
Yeah. I don't even know what I was talking about
They're
anymore.
brown.
What was I talking about?
You don't need these things. People need love.
I know. Oh yeah, love. I was reading. Okay, getting religious on y'all. There you go. I was reading 1 Corinthians. I think it's 12, and it's the most. He's whining. I'm. Whatever. I don't like how our culture treats this chapter. It's the chapter that everybody reads at their wedding, and it makes it so damn cheesy. It's like a Bruno Mars song now.
Oh.
I hate it. Love is what is it? Love is patient. Love is kind.
Doesn't boast.
It doesn't boast. I'm like,
I feel like that's hammered into our psyche from the time we're very small.
Yeah.
Culturally even.
yeah. And now let's go dance the electric walk or whatever it is.
The electric walk.
What is it called? The electric dance?
Slide?
Electric slide dance. So right after you read
electric dance.
right after you read 1 Corinthians 12, you're conditioned to go dance the electric slide.
That is so funny. That's like the money dance that people do at weddings. I did not know what that was until I moved here. I was like, money dance? What are you guys, stripping? I'm not sure what's happening here.
What's the money dance?
It happens at weddings in New Mexico especially, but it's like where you do a dance and people pay to dance with the groom or the bride. So they pay $1 and they cut in.
Oh, okay.
Which, would be nice, I guess, if you're the groom or the bride. And
We did that at a reception, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I remember you danced with your brother.
Yeah, I didn't get any money for it.
Like I should have.
Bro, if you're listening, you owe me $5.
Yeah. So, yeah, that chapter has been cheapened, but I read it today. I'm not today, but this week. And it's a very beautiful thing. Love is everything. Love is super important. You can have all these accomplishments, but if you don't have love, it's futile. It doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. So I can have my LeBron James mansion with 4 kitchens, 30 bathrooms, 4 basketball courts.
Does that mean you have 4 personal chefs too?
He probably has.
For each kitchen?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was talking to my kids about it too, because I used an analogy between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. A prokaryotic cell is very simple. It has the cell membrane, free-floating DNA, ribosomes, cytoplasm.
Yes.
About it. And the eukaryotic cell has a bunch more. Mitochondria, the Golgi apparatus, all that stuff. What?
Okay.
So I was comparing the prokaryotic cell to my studio apartment from when I was in college. Super simple, which I love that apartment, by the way.
I do too.
To LeBron James's house.
I drove by that apartment the other day.
Yeah.
And I was reminiscing, and I was like, oh.
Did you? The Alhambra
I
apartments.
was like, you're so cute, little Alhambra apartment.
I loved that place.
Little 1920s style
Yeah.
studios with Murphy beds. Tables, Murphy tables.
Table. Yeah, it was pretty
What is
awesome.
happening with our 2-year-old? Like,
Who knows? I think Luke is antagonizing
hey,
him.
Luke? Dude? Be nice? Let him out. If he wants to get out, let him out, dude.
Okay. So, yeah, so I was talking to my kids about LeBron James' apartment. I was just making things up. But I know for sure.
Apartment? You mean his McMansion?
His mansion.
Yeah, not apartment.
For sure there's a security room where somebody's watching security 24/7.
I'm sure.
For sure there's more than one kitchen. For sure there's at least one basketball court. You know, multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms.
A pool, a spa, a sauna.
Probably a movie room.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a video game room. Maybe there's a billiards room. Maybe there's a man cave. Maybe there's a
wine
cellar. Maybe there's whatever. Like all these different things. Like, do you need those things? I mean, what if you had all of that stuff, but everybody hated you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if you were Donald Trump?
You'd probably never leave your house. You'd just hang out in your own wine cellar.
Yeah.
Watch movies.
Like, it doesn't matter. But what if you lived?
You'd buy some holographic friends.
Mm-hmm. What if you lived very simply and you had all the love in the world, right? Where you had family and you had friends and every day you had a conversation with somebody that you loved. Like you had your spouse and then you had really good friends and like you were all a big community and you just loved each other. But you didn't have a mansion, you just had a simple house. Like who would, like if you were able to measure who was happier like and had more fulfillment, who would that be?
Yeah. I think it all depends on where your values are.
Yeah.
There's some people that would be like, I hate people. I don't care. I just want money and influence and I can buy whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. But we feel like when we get that new thing, we feel a little bit of happiness, but it doesn't last, right?
Well, it's
like
fleeting.
if I were to open a brand new iPhone 10 right now.
I seem to remember this situation when you got your tablet.
I still use my tablet a lot and I enjoy it.
No, but I remember you opened it, you were stoked about it, and then it was like, oh, like regret, like,
Well, I regretted it once I figured out that I have to pay for this thing.
Well, what did you...
No, I know, but sometimes that desire for something overcomes your it overrides your what's that, intuition, not intuition, but like
Logic?
Yeah, like your ability to think rationality, or just like resistance to have like want to buy something. So somebody sneezed.
Bless you.
Good Lord.
Well, I don't know who it was.
So for a second, if I was driving home that Tacoma from the dealership, I would feel so happy,
You'd
right?
probably buy a new pair of sunglasses too, huh? Just
But-
to like...
Probably. Luke, you need to go time out, bud. I'm sorry. You need to time out 5 minutes in the blue chair.
Pause again.
I'm not pausing. Just keep talking.
No, we're not pausing. Okay, so we're not pausing. Yeah. Is it another spam call? We are really on a roll today, guys. Back to business. Back to parenting and podcasting in no particular order.
5 minutes.
Our 5-year-old's being really cranky today. He's very antagonistic of his siblings for some strange reason. Now he looks like the Hulk.
Yeah. So I'm sure that there are people who have, or I mean, the iPhone 10 isn't released yet, but when it comes out, they are going to have the iPhone 10. They're going to be driving in their Tacoma, and they're going to be really sad and disappointed, right? Because those sorts of things aren't the things that bring you true happiness, right? So, I don't know. I was thinking about that because, I've bought into that. I bought into the idea that if I have some things, then I'm going to be so happy, right?
Yeah, I feel like that at Costco a lot.
Yeah.
We have to go there today. I'm
Luke.
a little bit scared.
Yeah, we got to go get some stuff.
Oh, Costco.
Yeah. So, sorry about the tangent, but that's just kind of what I was thinking about.
And it's good to think about it. It's good to reflect on that stuff.
Yeah, and I think I'm making progress too, because I feel so happy right now about having less, which is weird. So it's not a lot. It's not a huge thing, but I disconnected my internet connection, and I feel super happy about having less right now. Is that weird?
No, I feel like we should strive for that more, and maybe we should get rid of more.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things we have that we don't need, that I don't necessarily want, that aren't contributing to happiness at all.
Yeah.
They're just objects that sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that, do you think we'll ever get to a point where we would have to survive off the land?
I have no idea.
You watch Doomsday Preppers.
Sometimes.
What channel is that on anyway?
I don't remember. I think it's on Hulu, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
You just, pushed me back.
Oh, I was holding your hand. I'm sorry.
You're kind of violent, dude.
Not violent.
You're a little violent with your hand holding.
Yeah. So do you think those guys have any reason to be like that?
Okay, so at the end of the show, have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay, at the end of the show, they do an evaluation where they say, how realistic their fear is of, whatever.
What do you mean, a professional, medical evaluation? All right.
Can we pause for a second? I'm sorry.
Let's pause. And we're back. We had to, again, parent, and then Lindsay had to do work on a Saturday, so there's that. But yeah, we were talking about Doomsday Preppers.
At the end of the show, they do an evaluation to see how realistic their fear is. A lot of times they'll say, well, I think that the end of the world or the end of society as we know it is going to happen this way. So they'll evaluate how realistic that actually is. Mm-hmm. And then they'll evaluate their preparations based on that scenario and how realistic their chances of survival would be.
Are these the same people that...
And for how long?
...have conspiracy theories?
I'm sure they are. Not all of them, but I'm sure some of them are.
Do they think that the government is poisoning us?
A lot of them... No, it's more maybe they do. I don't know. But, they don't really go into that. They kind of talk about, some people are like, yeah, I think that society's going to crash during a nuclear war. And so they talk about how they could prepare for that. Or, I think that we're going to have a technological meltdown and technology's going to go kaput and then we're not going to be able to communicate. So they prepare for that or whatever.
See, I'm a skeptic. I can appreciate a good story about, apocalyptic living. Mm-hmm. That fascinates me a lot. Apocalyptic living. Post-apocalyptic living.
Yeah.
And also surviving in that place. I mean, I really wouldn't want to survive, but I can kind of imagine and kind of fantasize, I guess, about that. And think about what would I do and where would I go and how would I get my family to survive and all this other stuff. That interests me. Would I really want to be in that situation? No. I like my life now. But I'm also a skeptic. You know what I mean? I'm skeptical of those things. I'm skeptical that the government is poisoning us. I'm skeptical that we'll ever get to the point where whatever. And maybe shame on me if that ever happens. Right now, I'm actually kind of a little bit scared. I'm like, oh man, what's going on with our world? Fires and hurricanes and not traditional leadership, things like that. And then you were telling me about how people are trained to do horrible things, conditioned, mentally, almost hypnotized, I guess, to do crazy things. And
you can look it up and research for yourself, but it's called MK Ultra. It's a form of mind control that emerged, I think, in the late it started the testing in World War II. The Nazis actually.
And you said it was actually the government has admitted to actually be these things, right?
Yeah, and there's been actual. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Lawsuits filed against the government from people that are supposed victims of this. Again, do your own research. I'm not telling you to believe it or not believe it, but the government has actually admitted to doing these things. In what capacity, I don't know. I think it's just good to be aware that these things are possible and they can happen. And there's been proof of them happening in the past, so that should tell you something about our future.
I'm gonna get dressed.
Okay.
Okay.
After pod.
All right,
Okay.
dude.
Is it done with podcast?
No,
Not
just a
yet.
few more minutes.
Is it like
Just a few more minutes. Yeah, that close.
Mm-hmm.
He understands time from a YouTube load bar.
Oh my
Is it this
gosh.
close? So he was.
That is sad.
He was gesturing how close it is, like to the end of how the YouTube play bar.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Is it this close?
That is not a good
No,
testament
that's
to
just
our parenting.
that's just the world he lives in, right? Anyways,
So anyway, you can look up MK Ultra mind control. There's a lot of crap floating around out there about it as well. Don't believe everything you read, obviously. Not everything is like, well, just do your research. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of YouTube conspiracy theorists that take it to an extreme that is ridiculous, but there's some truth to it. So you should look that up and see. I also, there's things called false flags. And again, I'm not like a giant conspiracy theorist, but I do think these things exist. I mean, again, the government has admitted to having certain false flags in history. You can look up what that means. And
what's a false flag? Just tell me.
A false flag is an orchestrated event to create an outcome for political gain. So, let's say that you wanted people to dislike French people, right? You wanted America to be terrified of French people.
Well, use a real situation. Is it? Are they using it against Mexican people or minorities?
I want people to think for themselves. So I'm not
Okay.
going to give any specific examples.
French people.
It's hypothetical. So let's say that we wanted to instill a fear of French people in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The government would create an event that would specifically do that. They would instill fear of French people in the general public. So they would maybe be doing something horrible like creating a mass hysteria event or a bombing or a shooting or I don't know, like a biological scare, like an anthrax scare, something like that. They would create a mass event. Yes, people would actually die. People would actually be hurt in this event. And then they would blame it on the party that they wanted to instill the fear of. Does that make sense? So they would blame it on the French. So then all of the sudden...
Or ISIS.
Could be. So all of a sudden, the United States, this event happens, we blame it on French people, and now everybody's scared of French terrorists in large groups. It instills a group mind, group think type fear in people.
And there's evidence to prove this?
Yes. And you can also look that up and do your research. Again, I know what I've researched, and I think that, again, people do take these to the extremes and they make a lot of assumptions sometimes. But if you look at factual evidence and then you look at patterns, you can draw your own conclusions from that. Our government has... Oh my goodness.
Here. Oh, I got her.
This is really frustrating today.
Our government has done what?
Our government has historically lied to us and then come out with the truth like decades later.
Nice.
So, I mean, there's evidence to show that, yeah, your government does lie to you. So I guess you would have to really think about, like, what is the agenda behind, like, what you're seeing? Is there an agenda? And again, I'm not, like... There's a ton of conspiracy theories that are ridiculous, that do not hold water, and that are just basic paranoia. Like, I get that. I also don't think you should believe everything that the media tells you or that the government tells you, because, again, like, if you're letting someone else do the thinking for you, you're not actually critically thinking. So that's all I'm going to say. I probably sound like a crazy person, and that's fine. This is just kind of like, I think you need to learn how to critically think on your own and think around mass media as well, because let's be honest, mass media is all outlets from, like, general... Okay, I'm totally sidetracked because our kids are driving me effing crazy.
I agree with you, and but our kids are falling apart and they need baths, and they need attention and love. So thank you guys again for being with us on this roller coaster of an episode. It is a Saturday morning, and this is what it's like in our house. And I hope you guys have a good week. Maybe we'll do one more before the weekend's over. I don't know, but God help us. You guys have a good day.